The word hero usually brings to mind an image of a celebrity or a sports icon, but for me, the word has two meanings. The first is that of someone who puts on the uniform of our country's armed forces and defends our freedoms, both here at home and abroad. The second is that of a first responder, an EMS, policeman, or a fireman. On April 30th, 2016, I had the privilege of spending the day with a group of guys who fit both definitions of heroes. To you, they may just be ordinary guys, but to me, they are unrecognized heroes. These men are just a few of the many who proudly protect the Fort Polk military base. They are a small part of Fort Polk Fire Department.
My name is Lieutenant William Magyar. I've been a firefighter here at Fort Polk for 17 years. Total over in the service about 25 years. I started in California, went to a junior college, got my firefighter 1, 2, EMT, and well, I tried to become an aircraft mechanic, and my math wasn't the best in the world. Favorite part of the job is helping people. I've always loved helping people, and I never realized how to the extreme people need help. We've been on some bad vehicle accidents that they've needed us to cut them out of their cars. We run JAWS units off of our rescue trucks, and in the worst case scenario, we're there to get them out as quickly as possible. We run off the golden hour in the medical. A lot of us are EMTs, emergency medical technicians, and we go by the golden hour. From the time they're injured to the time they're in the emergency room is 1 hour.
Oh, wow. So what's one thing you wish the general public knew about your job and or fire safety?
Fire safety, I wish that everybody would know. Unattended cooking in the house is one big reasons that a lot of these house fires start. They want to cook, but they want to walk away from the kitchen and do something else while food's cooking. And a lot of times it starts with the cabinets, and then the house goes up. A lot of these old houses these days, it doesn't take much, and the fire is gonna travel fast.
Yeah. If you were to pick your career over again, would you still pick to be a fireman?
I would stay with the firefighter. It's the best job in the world. I wouldn't give it up for nothing.
My name is Adrian Shell. I've been a fireman now for a little bit over 2.5 years. Well, I should say I've been a civilian firefighter for a little bit over 2.5 years. I was a fireman when I was in active duty in the Navy, and I did that a little bit over 8.5 years.
So 10 years altogether.
Yeah, 10 years altogether.
More. So you've been here at Polk for 2 years?
A little bit over 2 years. Yeah, about the job. I would have to say helping people, because when you call us, somebody is in trouble and they need us. That has to be the favorite part.
Okay. So what's your least favorite part about the job?
I'll probably say having to wash the truck.
Wash the truck, huh?
Because sometimes, like, the truck don't even look dirty. We wash it anyway. It's just kind of repetition,
It's just part of day-to-day life, huh?
Exactly.
It's like when you get bored, you go wash the truck.
Yeah, it's like, hey, you know what? The truck looks dirty. Like, what sticks out in my mind the most was probably one of the first calls I ever went on. And I was active duty Navy at this time, and I was actually working in Corpus Christi, Texas. And it was a 3-car pileup outside of the gate, and it was like my very first call. And there's a guy. He's sitting in the driver's seat. He's kind of he's pinned in there. We had to cut him out. I just remember it because, and the guy survived and everything. But I remember it just because that was my first call, and I kind of got this tunnel vision. I was kind of like just
training
shocked.
Goes into play like second nature, huh?
And I remember my chief just kind of tapped me on the shoulder like, "Hey, let's get this board ready." And that just kind of snapped me out. Oh man, I don't know, because most of the people. I think most people think firemen are just we the cool guys. So and that's pretty true. We get a couple of nerds here and there, but they cool guys. That's one thing I would like to stress to people: don't be afraid to throw this stuff away. You know what I'm saying? Keep the smoke detectors working, and you know all that.
Check the
basic stuff.
And...
Yeah, basic stuff.
All right. So what's one thing you would change about your job, if you could change anything at all?
That is a very difficult question. Because, man, I guess I'd have to really sit back. Because, honestly, I like my job. I really do.
That's great. You don't want to work a job you don't like.
Yeah, true. One thing that I would change if I could, I'd probably make myself the fire chief.
We won't tell Captain that.
I would. I think I would like that job. I don't know how much I would have to like talking to other people that got on my nerves. I know the fire chief had to talk to people that he don't like all the time.
Paperwork.
True.
Do you think he'd want to
I'll
do
let
all
him
that
keep. I'll
paperwork?
let somebody else keep the paperwork part, but just the fire chief part, like, yeah.
All right. So you'd like to be the fire chief someday?
Why not?
Gotcha.
You get the big
So
bucks.
what got the most to you?
Probably the most recent thing that I've done is I passed my EMT.
Well, that's a big thing.
It is.
The
and,
EMT classes
and let me
are
tell
not
you,
easy.
it is not, and it took me a little while to get over that hump. That's the word, perseverance, because I spent a lot of nights studying out of these books, and the few times that I shouldn't say few times, the many times that I took this test, and just I'm pulling on my hair like, man, why can't I get past the test? But I stuck with it.
Yeah. Don't never give up.
That's true. Don't never give up.
So that's a great accomplishment. So if you were to pick your career over again, would you still pick to be a fireman?
I think so, because honestly, I say that because of the people that I've met.
My name's Matthew Chapman. I'm a firefighter here at Fort Polk. I've been doing this for about here at Fort Polk since 2012. I've been in our DoD system since May of 2008, and I've been a firefighter altogether since January of 2000.
Oh wow,
So
that's a long time. So what made you decide to become a fireman?
actually, a buddy of mine in Tennessee, when me and him were in the reserves together, and he was telling me how he had been a volunteer firefighter, and it sounded kind of cool. You get to ride in the trucks, you get to play with the siren, everything that all little kids want to do.
Yeah.
Except as an adult, you get to do it, and somebody pays you. So it's like you can't beat that.
Yeah,
so,
you were the one that was showing us the water truck, and I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
not
So
a problem.
giving us the test drive on that part. So what's the your most favorite part about the job?
Besides the sirens and all that, then
Yeah, besides the sirens and the lights.
Because I mean, those are
and
the
being-
best. Those are
being
actually the best
being
parts.
a little kid in the big kid body, you know.
Exactly. The best part is actually when you get to the scene and you've actually know that you've helped somebody. That makes a big difference. It's the, when we get calls, we go out on a call and we might not know really what we're getting into because we don't always get all the correct information that people should give us.
People
But
don't
when
give
they
the
panic,
information in the panic.
right, and they panic and then we have no clue. We're kind of going in blind, and that's kind of what makes it a little bit interesting and challenging for the job. They might call, say, we have a person trapped on a tower. Well, their idea of a tower is the water tower. Our idea of a tower is 60-story building. It just depends on what you're looking at.
So
And also where you're at. So.
Yeah, what's your least favorite part about the job?
Paperwork and training.
So what's one thing you wish the general public knew about your job and or fire safety?
To turn down your radios. Our biggest thing is we have lights, sirens, and everything else blaring, and we still have people that don't realize that we're behind them or that we're going to a call, and they'll just put along like there's nothing going on, and it really aggravates a lot of us, especially like the red lights, the green, stoplights. State laws tell us how we're supposed to respond to it, but at the same time, you can't unless you have your music blaring so loud or you have this. And once we get there, people are going, well, what took you so long?
People wouldn't get out the way.
People don't get out. People
isn't
don't pay
there a
attention.
state law that
They're
the drivers are
supposed to pull to the right. They're
when they
supposed to
see
pull to the
an
right.
emergency vehicle?
But it doesn't always happen, and that's the same thing. But again, like I said, the biggest thing is I think for people to keep more of an awareness around them. Our fire safety program is great. In fact, we really rarely have fire calls here on the base due to our fire inspection program.
Yeah.
Our fire inspectors keep it very well done. Off post is a whole different story. Here you can kind of regulate the personnel and tell them, look, if you don't do this, you really do get in trouble, and it's a whole different ball of wax and going outside of the gates.
Oh, what advice would you give to someone who's considering a career as a fireman?
Do two things. If you can afford it, and it's expensive, I know, but get your EMT and paramedic just to open the door to a point. Most fire departments now require EMT or paramedic just to get your foot in the door. A reputable training program that if it'll let you, or even go volunteer. Because a lot of volunteer departments will pay to have their guys go get their certifications, and with that, then you have other options. So it's all a game, but it's.
So since you worked in all three aspects, a volunteer, municipality, and as well as on the federal base, which is your favorite? What separates the departments in your mind?
The types of calls. there's still red tape and paperwork that's almost the same no matter where you go. It's almost always going to be the same. But the guys and the type of calls you'll run. Here we deal with a lot more military equipment, but we deal with a more influx of civilians. Where I was at contracting, it was almost all civilians, so you dealt with that, but it's in a remote location, so you're hamstrung by the equipment you're available to use and bring in. You know, here we can call down the road for a ladder truck, or we need an air ambulance or something like that, which is a helicopter. There, where I was at, you might not have that luxury, or if you do, it might be 6 hours before it can get there. You know,
wow.
it's so there's
Response times.
response times are the big one. The volunteer side, that dealt with more of the strange calls. Like you'll get the car accidents. We had guys lost in the woods. You know, bring a boat here. So you know, it's like you know, it's every fire department and every nationwide, worldwide has their own peculiarities of what type of calls they run, what they're going to see.
It
So
depends on the area.
it depends on the area, the type of people in the area. You know, you might get one area that's nothing but mountainous terrain that your fire department's at. You might do a lot of search and rescue work more than fire calls.
Yeah.
Here we do a lot more of building inspections and EMS calls than fire calls. It used to be the opposite way, but now it's more, since our fire prevention program took over and did a very good job, we still run more medical calls than anything, and that's going to happen with a population anywhere you're going to run more, because the ambulance can't be everywhere all the time, and
there's limited people, limited EMTs.
And limited resources.
Yeah.
My name's Jeff Duncan. I've been a firefighter since 2001. I joined the fire service after 9/11. I got out of the Marine Corps, you know, active in helping people in that way. Once 9/11 happened, I decided to join and be a part of it. And
9/11
just help
changed
people out.
everybody's outlook on life.
Right.
Captain Devon Fletcher. I've been employed here at Fort Polk Emergency Services for going on 33 years. And I started back in 1983 when they had the trainee program. The camaraderie, being able to help people. You know, I look back on my career and I can think of times that it was very satisfying.
That's great.
And, you know, sad times too over the years, but more happy than sad.
Well, that's awesome. So what's your least favorite part about your job? Do you have one?
Yeah, time away from family.
That's kind of got to be hard.
Yeah.
Kinda.
We, you know, I like the hours we work as far as the schedule, but, you know, I've missed a lot of time with my family.
Yeah, birthdays, Christmases,
Exactly.
holidays.
Lots of, you know, it's 50-50 chance.
Yeah.
As far as my career here, as long as I've been here, I've seen a number of, I hate to go to bad MVAs, motor vehicle accidents. I've seen some bad ones over the years, and that'll kind of stick with you, but you just have to move on.
Yeah, how do you do that? How do you just compartmentalize it and then move on from it? Or?
Yeah, it's always there in your
Yeah.
mind, but you just move on, and you know, I put a lot of that in my faith, spiritual.
Yeah, definitely. If you were to pick your career over again, would you still pick being a fireman, or would you change your mind and go with something else?
If I could do it over again, I would do it because I love this job. That's why I've been in it so long.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So, if you weren't a fireman, what would you be? You know.
I've always liked the outdoors. I would probably be something to do with forestry or game and fish.
Yeah. What advice would you give to someone who's considering a career as a fireman?
Get your schooling. Get your schooling early. A lot of your schools early, and try when you try to hire on and know all the basic knowledge you can before you move forward.
So is there local schools here around the area for fire academies or things like that? Or
Yes.
Is it?
The best thing I can do is, I can tell you as far as getting on as a basic firefighter is go ahead and you can go through LSU, Fire and Emergency Training Institute. They have a rookie school. I think it's, unless it's changed, it's like 13 weeks long. Once you get involved in that, you stay down there, you come home on weekends, you do the training, and when you step out of that school, graduate, you're certified all your basics. And then I would advise you go get your emergency medical technician.
Yeah, the
Once you
EMT.
get that, And yes, and that'll give you everything you need to get your foot in the door.
Now, do y'all have EMTs on staff here with the department? Or?
Yes, the majority of us are emergency medical technicians, and we do have 2 or 3 paramedics work with us.